habits. We want to talk about habits that's going to improve you, your family, and your friends' lives. When it all comes down to it, it all comes down to habits. When we teach the seven habits, we teach the seven steps, we teach the seven secrets. What it is, it's really habits. You want to fix it. You want to have a better life. You want your children to have a better life. You want your family to have a better life. Do you want to have a life where you have more security in what you're trying to do versus constantly trying to figure out where your next meal's coming from? Well, it really comes down to the seven habits. It comes down to the seven habits and studying successful people and do what they do. And, you can make a lot of money real quick, but guess what? Usually when you do, it gets spent on stupid stuff because you think you can go out and do it again. And some of you can make a lot of money, but I know people that have made millions and millions of dollars every year. They live like a king and queen, and they spent it. They spent the money, and it didn't build them an orchard of money trees. What we're trying to do here, guys, is we're trying to really get what the seven steps. And you know what? When it all comes down to it, when it all comes down to it, the difference in successful people is the habits they do. And it's the habits that they do every day. It all comes down to habits. It's not secrets. It's not knowledge. Those are helpful. They will improve, but it's really what are your habits? What are the habits you're doing? Your health is all comes down to your habits. A successful marriage is all about your habits. What are the habits that you do? What are the things you do on a daily basis? That's the key. So what I want to do is, and again, I'm not telling you anything new that you haven't done before, but I want you just to really think, what are you doing in each of these seven areas? And are each of these seven areas, what can I do to help my children? What can I do to help my children? Your goal is to have a better life, but your real goal is to help your children have a better life. Your real goal is to help your nieces and nephews. Your goal is to help your grandchildren have a better life. You want to have a better life, yes, but you also want to do these other things. And the way you do that is you create a habit. And when you create that habit, you take your kids with you. It's the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do. It's so much easier just to do it on your own. But helping them create that habit is the key. One of these days, you're going to hand over the keys to the Ferrari. Do you think they know how to drive the Ferrari, or are they going to go pilot into a tree, which will ruin your car and ruin them? No, we start out with the van in a church parking lot and teach them how to drive the van in a church parking lot where there's nobody around, and we work on it from them. We teach them a habit. Money habits. It's a habit. It's about what you do every day. So let's just talk about that for a second. I just really want you to really, really get what we're trying to do. And when I talk about this, I want you to be saying, what are the habits that I do? Because step number one is you got to make more money. And you can do that two ways. You can do that with your job, and you can do it with your small business. Now, small business basically is the job you're doing. Let's see here. That's interesting. Give me a second. Let me get this thing to wire up where I want it to go. All right, let's see if that works better. Number one.
Right.
Boy, this thing keeps moving on me, Joshua.
Yeah, I think you should lock your auto rotation on your iPad.
How about if I just don't pick it up?
There you go. Okay.
Okay, now make more money. Now, what's the key here? The way that you make more money is you study successful people. What is the habit? And I want you to each answer that right now. What habit do you have that you're studying successful people with? What are you doing every day? I want you to take a quick look. I want you to think, what did I do yesterday? Did I study any successful people yesterday? What did I watch on TikTok? Did I watch a bunch of stupid dancing cats and crap like that? Or did I watch Tony Robbins and Dean and Bob Allen? I mean, yesterday I was on a call with Bob Allen and a group of people. Do I need to do all that stuff? Probably not. I'm 66. I am who I am. The money's been made. It's all past. It's all step, but it's a habit. It's a habit of what I do. So what is those habits? Number one is study successful people. Habit number two, you need to add value. So as you are doing things in your daily life, are you adding more value to other people's lives? The only way you can get what you want out of life is to help other people get what they want out of life. Are you adding more value and are you solving problems? Are you solving problems? Because each one of these things are crucial to make more money. So if you're making 1x and you can do all these three things on here, we can get 3x. The key is you've got to figure out how to make more money. You got to make more money. You got to make more money. That's crucial. You got to make more money. Number two, what habits or systems do you have to separate your money so you can put it where you want it to go? What is the habit you have? Did you make the decision once and set it up automatically so it goes where you want it to go? Okay. Number three, what are the habits that you do to give? What do you do to give? Now, this can be money, this can be time, but what are the habits that you do to give? Now, this is the big one is number four, is to auto invest. What I want you to do is I want you to make the decision once, then automatically take money from here. We got to have money that automatically goes from here to here. And my goal is to get 10 to 20% of it. And you're saying there's just no way I can do that. Well, you've got to learn how to make more money. Our goal is to get as much as you can into automatically invest. Because number five is to save and spend. You'll notice save is not an investment. Save is just having some extra chips on the table. We need to get money and we can figure that out. You can manage your money on one piece of paper, but we've got to, from your money here or your money there, we've got to get as much money in there as possible. I don't care how much money you make. Honestly don't care where you spend it. The only thing I care about is, are you getting it here? And habitually, are you getting money into your investment account? I just spoke to hundreds and hundreds of people yesterday at a conference, and I asked a simple question. Um, do you wish that you would have started saving and investing at an earlier age? I've never met one individual that says, no, I've done all that. Everybody says, yeah, I wish I would have started investing at an earlier age. Well, let's fix that problem. Okay. So that's habitually doing it. Now, habitually, what are you doing with your money? Are over here, you're going to loan versus own. So over here on the own side, number one, are you picking and choosing? I know family members that love to pick and choose, and I did that, and I did millions and millions of dollars of picking and choosing. And I would have made more money if I wouldn't have done any of that, if I would have just put it into Berkshire or the S&P. Because when you pick and choose, you lose. You lose your time, you lose your energy. You, let's now, if you want to take some of your assets right here, let's say that you're going to take 30% of your money. Now, if you're young, I wouldn't, and again, I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just telling you what I would do. But if you're young, I'd be doing maybe 10% over here, and I'd be doing like 90% over here. Okay, because this is going to get you maybe 5% rate of return. This should get you 8 to 12%, and that's massive. So out of this 90%, you can pick and choose. You can do mutual funds. Now, I have mutual funds, and I have a guy that manages stuff that for us, but our cost on that is about 1%. Okay, so it's only about 1%. It's not 2 or 3%, but that's part of my strategy because of how we've got our money. The S&P 500 and Berkshire Hathaway. So if you're doing this, of that 90%, take 10% of it and pick and choose and go have some fun with it. Do it on paper. If you want somebody to manage your stuff, especially your retirement accounts and stuff like that, take 10% of it. And then what I would recommend you do out of that last 90% that you got, I'd personally, I'd put a bigger chunk into it, maybe 50 and then maybe 20. So we're going to take 10% of it and put it over here in the loan side. And then we're going to do this part right here. Now, if you want to do some crypto, you can do some crypto as well. But if we look at crypto, there's three areas. One is Bitcoin, two is Ethereum, and three is what I'm going to call the crypto crap. Can you make money with crap? Yeah, you can. But if I'm here and I'm going to say, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm only going to do 40% here, and I'm going to take another 10%, put it over here. So that's of my own side. Well, I'd take 3% of it here, and I'd take 3% of it over here, and maybe 4% over here. Okay, you see where I'm going with that, guys? So can you make a fortune concentrating on something? Absolutely. But you better be in that business of doing it. Where I want you to really concentrate is number six. Number six is you need to add real estate and business. You need to be flipping stuff. Five F's. You need to find good deals. And only 1 to 3% of all the properties out there fit our criteria. So just know that we're looking for the needle in the haystack, but we were going to get us a magnet. Okay. You need to fund it or control it. You need to fix the problem. That's crucial. Okay. That's crucial. This is probably the number one thing that you can do, and this is probably number two thing. Getting the money is easy if you find a good deal. Then you're either going to flip it or farm it. I'm going to flip it for cash, then I'm going to recycle that cash. I'm going to make a buck, I'm going to go flip something, and then I'm going to make a buck and I'm going to recycle it. All this stuff gets recycled. All this money in step six gets recycled. You don't use it to live off of. You use it over here to be able to get your businesses rolling. What are the habits you're doing on a daily basis? Are you looking at real estate as you're driving to work? Are you looking at businesses? Are you studying stuff as you're going about your daily life? That's crucial. You need to do all of that. What are the habits that you have? I look at real estate all the time. I'm always interested in it. I'm interested in businesses all the time. And I'm doing those habits. That's why I am where I am. Number seven. This is crucial. Wealth formula. Because this is where you're going. Wealth formula. You need to take money from your businesses and your real estate and your job. Okay. And you need to put those into separate investment accounts. Every month you make money, we're going to put money into those accounts. This is crucial. Times, it's got to go up in value. You can't leave your money sitting in a stupid checking account. You got to get your money working for you. Times time. That equals wealth. And it really works generational wealth. That's where you're headed, guys. That's where you're headed. So as you look at this bucket list, what's on your bucket list? What's on your bucket list and how are you going to make it work? Okay. Well, on your bucket list is to be financially independent. It's not to buy a shiny new car that wears out. It's not to do stupid stuff with your money. What you want to do is you want to have generational wealth that you can pass down, but you need to pass down the knowledge. But more importantly, you need to pass down the habit. I don't really care about the knowledge that much. Knowledge is great, but the habit of doing what you're supposed to do, of doing that knowledge is the key. Now, most of you got kids. Most of you got grandkids. I'm looking at Ryan. I'm looking at Daryl. I'm looking at Ethan. Josh someday will have that. All of you got kids. Why are you doing this? Well, it's not for you. It's for your family. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Well, it's for your family. It's your friends. And for you. We want you to have a better life. And you can see the crap that's happening around the world. And the more stuff that countries around the world change stuff, you're at their beck and call. We don't want that. We want to be stable. Your ultimate goal is to grow a money tree. And then we want you to grow multiple money trees. And then we want you to grow orchards of money trees. That's what I have. I got whole orchards of money trees. The trees don't look really great, but they produce great fruit. So what do I care? Okay. And when there's a big infestation and stuff like that, and somebody comes in and does whatever and takes out some of my trees, I don't care because I got more trees. This is asset allocation. That's what you're building. That's where you're headed, guys. Successful people, that's what they do. And the number one thing you got to do is you got to study successful people. You can't just sit around doing stupid stuff. You got to study successful people. And then the biggest thing is habit. What are the habits you're doing every day? What are the habits? And as you look at your day, how many hours did you spend watching stupid TikToks? Now, there's two kinds of there's stupid ones and there's smart ones. But guess what? If you start watching really good ones, they're going to feed you more good ones. That's just how our algorithm works. So TikTok, it's not who you're watching, it's what they're talking about. If you're watching stupid crap, they're going to keep feeding you stupid crap. If you're watching smart stuff, financial stuff, stuff like that. I mean, I read articles today. I read articles on Larry Miller and who's somebody I know. I met Larry and Gail. I know both those guys. I know Ryan Smith. I know these guys that own the Utah Jazz and the Utah Mammoth hockey team. I know these guys. And a lot of these guys, now it's a network of people that I've hung out with, but it took years to get there. Who are you hanging out with? Who do you hang out with? Who do you hang out with? Now, how do you hang out with people? You study them, you learn from them, you read about stuff that they do, you watch their social posts, you get into a network, and then you figure out how to meet them. But really, this is the key right there. So, on your bucket list, who do you want to meet? And more importantly, who wants to meet you? And are you worth meeting? That's what you're trying to do. And it's not who you know. Everybody says, well, it's who you know. It's who you know. It's not. They say, well, it's who you know. Nope. It's who knows you. And the way you do that is find people with problems, find problems and solve them. A lot of the people I've got to know really well started out with charity. I do a lot of charity work. And you know what? The most successful people do. That's what they do. So what's your goal here, guys? What's the opinion of this? What are we trying to do? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing any of this stuff? Why are you doing it? Because you want a better life. For who? For you, your family, and your friends. And guess who else? Strangers. Guess what? They're part of your life. Your job's to help them have a better life. You want a better life? You want a better life? You help other people. The only way you can get what you want is to help other people. Famous quote by Zig Ziglar. The only way you can get what you want out of life is to help other people get what they want out of life. And that's really true. You look at the people who solve the biggest problems and help the most people to have a better life. Naturally, they just won. They added more value. There's no sliminess to this. I mean, people think that people come in and get rich and they take advantage of people. Well, they might do that in the short term, but it doesn't last very long. The most successful people are the people who solve the biggest problems, add more value, and help more people. And then they figured out how to duplicate that so it helps more people faster, quicker. That's what your goal is. Our goal is to help you have a better life. That's why you're here. That's why you were put on this earth, is to have a better life. So let's go figure out how to have a better life. Learn, earn, and return. Crucial. Make a difference. Make it happen. Quit sitting on your butt. Get off your butt and get something done. And do something, even if it doesn't work. I don't care if it doesn't work or not. I just care that you did something, you learned from it. And just remember, every life is precious. And the most important takeaway is that you are a miracle. Right there. I can see you right there watching on this call. You are a miracle. You didn't climb out from underneath some rock. You are a miracle. You're a divine spirit. You were put on this earth for a reason. There's all kinds of, but you were put on this earth for a reason. Now, I think it was to have, I believe that you're a spiritual being having an earthly experience. So go have that experience. Get on the roller coaster or get off. I don't care which one you do, but go have fun. Put your TikTok down and go see the world. And most importantly, go make a difference. Thanks for watching, everybody. You're making a difference. Make it happen. And remember that every life is precious.